One golden afternoon, my old tug Regina and I left Lyon and made our way down the Rhone, which was on its way to the Mediterranean. In the rolling hills of the Monts Lyonnais to the southwest of Lyon lives the remarkable Mr. Dams. Roland Dams, a veterinarian, is known as the man who saved the coq Francais. He's devoted his life to researching the ancient strains of French poultry.
Voilà une crêpe pâle. Hein?
This is a hen with a pale comb. You might easily say that the chicken was sick, but actually it's the Chateau Yquem of chickens. That's the best kind of chicken. Oh, yes. Roland Dams had explained to me that these two bachelor geese had taken charge of these orphaned goslings.
Célibataire qui a adopté la nichée. Et il s'en occupe, hein, vous voyez, il les garde. Qui doit était bébé.
Those are normal eggs. They're the eggs of the grey breasts, and these are the eggs of the Barbezieux. This is the strain we're working on now. They're magnificent. Genetically, it can't be explained. I haven't killed the DNA with vinegar or olive oil.
Ni d'huile d'olive, c'est voilà, c'est comme ça.
Ça c'est
Le Mans.
That's the Le Mans chicken.
Alors Le Mans, c'est près de la plage, c'est dans la Sarthe.
Le Mans is in the department of La Sarthe.
Il est splendide. Hein?
It's splendid. I've been working on it for 20 years.
Une vingtaine d'années de sélection. Je me suis amusé.
Since you ask, I'm playing with re-establishing the ancient strains. One is finished and the other is in the works.
À reconstituer des races anciennes. C'était d'alimentation habituelle. Dans la région du Mans,
It's what they normally eat. In the Le Mans region, they eat Le Mans chicken. In Brest, they eat Brest chicken. In Normandy, they have crève-cœur. In Udon, they have the udon. The Parisians ate udon for centuries, but now they eat American rubbish, which even hot remains rubbish. I believe there is a return to quality food, vegetables, meat, etc., etc., at this moment of history.
Dans l'histoire du temps et du moment.
Just then a major thunderstorm struck. Some of the residents really enjoyed the downpour, whilst others, just like us humans, found shelter in the barns. The work that Roland Dams does will one day stand all of us in good stead. André Sablier told me why Saint-Étienne is famous for cycles and guns.
Tout simplement, au siècle dernier, lorsque Saint-Étienne, qui est un bassin minier...
Saint-Étienne was a mining town with very fine coal, which was used for smelting metal. I started in 1964 with enormous enthusiasm, and I think I'm considered one of the best cycle builders in the world. That's really light. This bike weighs 6.5 kilos. I think there are very few as light as
Je pense
this.
qu'il y en a très très peu qui ont fait ce pas-là. Et elle a été fabriquée
I made it
il y a
20 years
environ une
ago.
vingtaine d'années.
You made that for someone called
Michel, c'est
Michel.
mon épouse.
Michel is my wife.
Voilà,
A present.
pour cadeau de
Yeah, a
mariage.
wedding present. You make bicycles for special people like the President of the Republic and people like that. Not quite that yet. But you make cycles for famous cyclists.
Alors, j'ai fabriqué beaucoup de bicyclettes.
I make lots
pour
of
les
bikes for
cyclistes
professional
professionnels.
cyclists.
On a
I
commencé
started
avec
with
des
Roger
Barging
Pinjot in 1973. Afterwards I made for Cyril
Après,
Guillemin
j'en ai fabriqué
and
pour
Raymond
Cyril
Polidor.
Guillemin. J'ai travaillé pour Raymond Polidor. Et j'ai
I worked for
travaillé
Bernard
pour Bernard
Hinault, and after that I worked for 20 or 30 of the
Après,
top
j'ai
riders
travaillé,
and the speed trial
pour
of
les
Francisco
grosses
Moser.
Peut-être pour 20 ou 30 coureurs de très haut niveau. J'ai travaillé pour le record de l'heure de Francesco Moser.
At the moment, your bikes are touring France.
Il n'y a pas mon nom dessus.
Yes,
C'est-
but they haven't got
c'est
my
le
name on
business.
them. But that's the business.
Ouais,
I'm
je
only
suis
a
seulement
small
un
artisan.
petit de l'artisanat.
Marie-Pierre Vincent is a fine photographer of ordinary people.
Donc cette dame est Madame
This woman
Fayard.
is Madame
Et
Fayard.
Fayard
Madame Fayard
loue
rents
un
a
jardin
workman's
privé
allotment at
à
Beauregard in
Beauregard. Donc, c'est
Saint-Étienne.
le nom du jardin, immense jardin où il y a plusieurs parcelles et pas mal de jardiniers. Et donc,
Voilà, c'est la première
This is
romaine
the first romaine I'm
que
cutting.
je coupe.
Before, they weren't
Parce
ready.
qu'avant, elle n'était pas assez belle. Voilà.
I'm doing what they do around here.
Ben, je vais faire comme on fait ici. Puis alors, chaque
Each garden
jardin,
takes on the
il y a des
character,
choses,
the
c'est
nationality of its
d'origine.
owner. This fig tree grew from a cutting I brought from Syracuse in Sicily, 2,000 kilometers away. I was down there eating figs one day when I thought, I bet it would grow here. So I bought a cutting here and it grew.
Elle est menée ici. Elle est poussée. Donc maintenant, c'est des figues ici. Amore, non, personne ne le voyait.
Look, I've even got an espresso here.
C'est pour les faire sécher. Là, elle avait un accord.
I brought this from the mine.
Alors, ne le
You
tirez.
heat things with that.
Alors, ne mettez.
It's for drying. You hang this on a cord and pull it up. You hang all your clothes on it, all your damp
Au
clothes.
fond, c'était mouillé. Les bottes, ne les mettez là. Il faut savoir la façon des bottes, non, ne les mettez.
Oui, et on met un petit feu au-dessus.
Non, 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 non. Pas de
You
feu,
put a
rien.
little fire in there.
C'était juste.
No fire, nothing. It's only for hanging your dirty clothes on.
Alors, les farés sales, on les mettait là, parce que nous mettons des crochets là.
In the evening, you put your dirty clothes on here. You wash them and then haul them up to dry. You put the soap in there.
Vous prenez le savon là. Le savon. Et on les lavait. Après, on remontait le
That's called a hanging
Ça s'appelle
basket.
le panier des peintres. Ça s'appelle la rigo.
It's called oregano.
Rigo.
When men and women are constipated, all you need is a good salad of this and a good tomato with lots of oregano and olive oil, and all will pass.
Ça passe.
Voilà la barre d'acier que l'on utilise.
This is the bar of
pour
steel we
réaliser le
use for
canon
piercing.
qui a été percé, et allégé.
Here's one that's been
Vous
drilled.
voyez, il y a eu un trou cylindrique. Les ébauches de crosse
The
sont
stocks
tirées
of the
dans la
guns are
tige
found in the
du
heart
noyer
of the
qui est
nut
arraché.
tree.
Donc, ils sont des
The nut
noyers,
trees are usually 300 to 400
qui,
years
en
old
général,
in
ont
Turkey.
entre 300 et 400 ans d'âge.
In that
Ce sont
sort
ces
of nut
noyers-là dans
tree,
lesquels on
you
trouve
find the best
les,
sort of veining and
types de
contrast
veinage
for the stock.
et les plus beaux contrastes sur les crosses.
That's special, that's for collectors.
Oui, ça ce sont des maquettes avec de très beaux contrastes que l'on classe dans des catégories collection.
Yes, there's samples in the collector's category, which we use for the best quality guns in our collection.
Et c'est combien de... Le prix pour ça, c'est...
Le prix d'une ébauche de noyer comme celle-ci peut
And what does it cost?
quand même relativement élevé pour vous donner une fourchette.
It's quite high. To give you some idea, the cost would be between 13 to 14,000 francs, or about $2,000. Mark Fabre is a jeweller by trade, but he's also one of the best gun engravers in France, one of the elite best workers of France for engraving. I've got two strings to my bow. I engrave guns and I also engrave jewellery. I asked Mark how many hours it had taken him to finish the gun that had won him his Best Workman of France medal. 900 hours. You start off with a completely naked, undecorated gun. You choose your subject, and once you've made your choice, you start engraving. For the exam, you have to use all the different types of engraving.
Donc, de la gravure en taille douce, c'est-à-dire c'est ça, la taille douce. Oui. De la ciselure, c'est ça, c'est-à-dire on cisèle, on donne les muscles au... Oui, oui. Voilà. Après,
as Mark blinded me with the technical terms of the engraver's art, I realized I was looking at his life's work. A bargain shotgun for someone who needs a masterpiece like this.
Après, donc il faut la clé ajourée. C'est-à-dire on perce avec une mèche et puis on découpe dedans. Oui. Et puis c'est à peu près tout. Oh oui. Donc ça, tout ce qui est partie métal.
So all the metal parts are there. Once the engraving is finished, the gun goes back to the gunsmith and he fits the stock.
Ça repart à l'armurier. Ah bon. Où lui, il remet la crosse, il ajuste la crosse.
Then there's the bronzing of the gun. You don't do that. No. The bronzing happens before you engrave. No, afterwards. The gun must be engraved first. How is it possible to bronze the gun without rubbing out all your work? No, because that's embedded in the metal. It's gold wire embedded in the metal which stands proud of the metal and can't come out.
Donc quand on bronze le canon, ça peut pas partir. Ah bon.
I went over to see the two brothers who bronzed just about all the guns in Saint-Étienne. What's that, I asked. That's the oxidizing bath we've been using since this morning. Is that acid? No, it's boiling water. And how long do you leave them in? About 10 minutes. And all that with the yellow stuff on it, that's the secret process. Yeah, that's right. Mr. Balela runs an excellent establishment where the full three-course meal costs $7.
Ah oui.
He told me that paella, which I'd always thought was a Spanish dish, was in fact originally an Arab recipe. Apparently the word paella means the rests in Arabic.
paille-là, ça veut dire reste.
Voilà. Ça dépend d'où nous sommes. Ici. Merci, madame.
Comment tu vas? C'est toi qui les
Are you
entraînes?
their trainer?
Très bonne.
It's very good, even if I say so
C'est moi qui le
myself.
dis. Hein. Bon appétit. Bonne vôtre.
I must say his paella was fresh and delicious.
La particularité des fourneaux de Saint-Étienne, c'est que des fourneaux qui
The
étaient
particularity of
fabriqués
Saint-Étienne
avec
stoves
très peu
is
de
that they're
fonte
made with little cast iron and lots of
surtout
sheet
beaucoup
steel.
de tôle.
Le Saint-Étienne.
So the Saint-Étienne stoves are special. Yes, because of the coal. They don't come only from Saint-Étienne, but the whole valley. We found more than 80 different manufacturers.
Au Chambon-Feugerolles, à la Ricamarie, à Saint-Genès-l'Air, il y avait des artisans. On a relevé, nous, plus de 80 noms de fabricants différents.
Why is the Saint-Étienne coal different? Because coal everywhere has its own specificity. Saint-Étienne coal was like that. The stoves were adapted to use the coal, and that applied to all the stoves made in France.
Les fourneaux à ce charbon, ce qui est vrai d'ailleurs pour tous les fourneaux qu'on a fabriqués en France.
Alain Boistron unveiled his masterpiece. To make this stove, we had to break up 3 old stoves, one for the ceramics at the sides, a second stove for the doors and these ceramics, and a third stove for these doors here.
Ces céramiques-là qui sont exactement les mêmes, enfin, qui plaisent aux clients, et un troisième fourneau pour récupérer ces 2 portes-là. À Saint-Étienne, ça c'était tout des fourneaux.
I bought most of these stoves from the miners because they were sold by the Saint-Étienne miners' cooperatives. Actually, they're items full of memories.
Expliquez-moi comment les broderies comme ça commencent dans ces régions.
Explain to me how all this embroidery started in this region. Everything started in 1880 when a woman who used to live here in Canton Noir-Table came back here after many years in Paris. She brought with her the addresses of the companies that ordered embroidery.
Aux environs de 50 ans, elle revient dans son village natal à Saint-Julien-la-Vêtre et elle ramène avec elle des adresses d'entreprises qui commandent des broderies.
All these ladies who embroider are called grenadières, and I asked why.
Donc la grenade au départ.
It's a derivation of the word grenade. The grenade is a word typically used by the police, the Foreign Legion. It's the little decoration found on the kepi and symbolizes an exploding grenade.
En fait, ce petit décor symbolise la grenade en explosion.
I asked her how long it took her. For me, the front takes 200 hours.
J'en ai pour 200 heures.
200.
Oui.
In this region, the women are very gifted in making clothes. The Priory of Saint-Romain is considered to be the most wonderful example of Romanesque sacred art in the region. The church dates from the year 1000. It's still possible to see today the extraordinary frescoes which were painted between the 10th and 15th centuries, as well as the capitals which are sculpted like lace. I don't know whether it was a sense of achievement at having climbed the hill, but I fell in love with the place. In the heart of the French countryside, I found the French pencil factory. These are for carpenters and these are for stonemasons. If you've ever wondered how they get the lead in the pencil, this machine has the answer. It forces the leads into these slotted blocks and then glues another on top. In the 15th century, Italian artists converted the old chateau of the Seigneur d'Urfé into a graceful Renaissance masterpiece. The decorations on the ceiling of the chapel are quite superb and apparently show the first artichoke in France. Those will be too small for you. You'll wear those for 5 minutes and that'll be that. Look, it's necessary for the feet to navigate in the clogs. If the feet can't navigate, the clogs will be useless. You'll need size 44.
Avant la guerre, en 1935, il y avait 30 000 sabotiers en France.
Before the war in 1935, there were 30,000 clog makers in France. Now there are 15. This is a reproducing lathe. With one right foot we make a right and left foot. Simply one foot turns in the opposite direction.
Tout simplement parce qu'il y en a un qui tourne à l'envers.
How long do you leave them now? 3 months at least. You have to make a model by hand like in the olden times. To learn this métier really well takes 5 years. It's very difficult because you have to learn the anatomy of the foot, because the foot has to go right in. It's not a hole, it's the anatomy, the form of the foot. For that reason, it's very delicate. A shoe made in leather is a little problem. The foot corrects the leather. But with wood, it's the wood that corrects the foot, and that's not good. So the principle is the same. You have a palpeur which traces the form and the pantograph which follows the shape. It's a little bit lighter now, but it's still heavy. When you have a dry clog, it's not heavy. From this stage on, we have to finish it by hand. My family's been doing this for 9 generations. 1734. Before that, we found an ancestor in 1702 who was a miller and a clog maker.
partie la plus délicate.
Now comes the most delicate part, because these bits can be bad for the feet. You have to smooth out the bumps.
Vous voyez la différence?
Ah oui.
Hein?
Oui, ah oui, oui.
You see the difference?
Voilà. Cuillère.
Oui.
Vous voyez, il faut enlever les coups de la machine qui a laissé, qui était brute.
Mais
Voilà.
ça, c'est que...
Ça s'appelle une
This is
roue.
called a rouan.
Vous avez Rouen,
Oui.
mais c'est pas Roa, c'est roue.
Rouen.
Voilà. Mais c'est proche, hein? Non, c'est fini. Tout s'en va.
No, it's all finished. A patrimony that's over.
Qui s'en va.
Ah oui.
The Regina and I set off again, further south towards the Mediterranean.